Hey, cousins. Hope all is well with you guys. Listen, ain't nothing was going on yesterday, so one nothing to talk about. Y'all know I'm not gonna come up here and just be yanking and yanking and ain't got nothing to hold you and your attention. You understand? So here we are. This is usually my PTO day. So new cousins, this is when I usually take off and I don't post. But we got some stuff we gotta talk about. I want to talk about Karrion Kross. I want to talk about Karrion Kross and his interview with Ariel Hawani. I think it's okay to talk about it now. I think everyone has settled on the notion that it's not, in fact, a work. I want to say something about this work shit. And from my perspective as a viewer, okay, as a consumer of the product, I don't like to be worked. I don't know where this idea came from that everybody wants to be just, confused and not sure of what's going on and fucked around with. I don't like that. I don't like April Fool's jokes. I don't like shit sprung on me. I like to be a part of the joke. Okay? I like it snuck on me, but I don't like to be sitting there thinking one thing for something totally different to happen. I don't like that. Especially if the twist and turn isn't good. This ain't Final fucking Destination. That's the only place where twists and turns are good. Okay? This is a TV show, an episodic TV show. Your job as a writer, here I go, because I did creative writing, is to keep the viewer engaged in a storyline. Okay? That whole Seth Rollins shit has somehow either fucked up the viewing audience to where they don't know right from wrong, left from right, up from down, or WWE feels like we really showed them. Let's keep on fucking around with the audience. The work or the ruse of the century or whatever the stupid shit they're calling it, it's a whole nother conversation for itself. Wasn't a ruse if you follow the storyline. Okay, I don't give a fuck what Becky was doing and everything like that. It was cute, but even y'all heard me say I saw him with them crutches walking up the street with his daughter. But even then, I said, nah, I don't even like it simply because of the way he landed. Just ain't giving. It ain't giving what it thought it gave. Now here we are. Everybody's it's a work. It's a work because Seth Rollins is a work. Is work. Now we have Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross seems like he is trying to force somebody's hand down to the WWE. And now you don't have to be a avid viewer or a staple viewer to know that a lot of people in high positions don't like their hand being forced. And a lot of those people in high positions tend to be very petty. What do I mean? When you force someone's hand, they feel challenged, and so they feel like they're obligated to reel your ass in. Okay. One thing I learned listening to these pro wrestlers over the years is don't go into business for yourself. They seem to really not like when you take the initiative and get yourself over. This seems to be historic. Okay. They don't like that. The higher ups don't like it. And other wrestlers don't like it. Oh, they went into business for themselves. We was in a storyline. I can't believe they did this and didn't tell me about that. Whether it makes the storyline good or not. I think this is where Karrion Kross went wrong. I think this is where he went wrong. He went into business for himself. He did not run nothing by nobody. He didn't pull nobody from creative. A lot of the things that he's talking about in this interview is him going ahead and doing it and then having to double backpedal and pussy pop to clear up things because everybody's fucking confused. So essentially he's working his boss and creative writers and higher up and everyone else and not including them in the work, and they don't like stuff like that. He doing too much. So the first thing in the interview, he discusses his book release. He has a book. If anybody's interested, great. I'm not. I'm not in the business of reading pro wrestlers' books. Okay. Now, if you want to read an autobiography, get the autobiography of Rick James, child. Woo! Now that's gonna give you something to chew on. Is it a work? He had to say no. He had to say no because everybody thinks that everything that's going on in the storyline. Now, I want to preface this. I'm going to talk about this as this is real life. Now, if it turns out to be a work, that's a whole nother story, and we'll probably touch on that again at the end of this. He said, no, this is real. The next question was contract negotiations. He said multiple times in this interview that he had made it clear that his landing spot for the remainder of his pro wrestling career is going to be with the WWE. He's made it clear. He said he told higher ups, he let people know. He said, tell me what I got to do to show you that I'm loyal, that I'm going to be down for y'all. I'm going to be your bottom bitch. Let me know what I got to do. Okay. He said the person he talked to told him, like, this is what you got to do. And he was like, cool, I'm going to show you what I got. There was no offer for Scarlett. That's his right hand. That's his gal. That's his gal Friday. You ain't got no offer for Scarlett, which I'm shocked. I'm actually shocked by that. Because if you ask me, Scarlett is actually the star of this whole little couple situation. This what could have been a power couple. Scarlett should have been at the forefront of this, and I said it multiple times. That is your money. That's your money. Take her away from all this mysticism, all this goth devil shit, and let's go ahead and have her be the dominatrix, grown ass woman, polar opposite of Rhea Ripley. Soft, delicate, bright pink colors, right? Put him in a nice little suit. Have her sick him on different opponents. That's what you want. Let her be the brains of the operation. But, I don't work there. People are trying to reach out, but they're not sure if it's real. And he's here to say it's real. The feelings that he's feeling is real. These are all real. You could go ahead and reach out to him. Because his contract ran out, he does not have a hold clause. You could go ahead and mix it up with him. That's what he said. Come get him. Things start going wrong. He start expressing himself. Basically, this is where he essentially said that he was doing things to liven things up, to zhuzh things up. He saw something wrong. He took the initiative. And this is where people was like, nah, we not fucking with him. We didn't ask him to do none of that. They didn't like that. That was the beginning of the end. That promo that everybody went up for and said, ooh, y'all better push Karrion Kross. That was the beginning of the end. Okay? You set your ass up there. You said a whole lot of wild shit. And for some odd reason, Paul Levesque didn't know. Now, Karrion Kross, I got to ask you. Paul Levesque had it in for you when you was in NXT. You was his man. Paul Levesque put everything but the kitchen sink behind motherfucking Karrion Kross. And that was shown. Okay? That was shown. What is different this time? Well, Paul Levesque NXT ain't Paul Levesque of TKO Silver Lake. Okay? Got more money. He in the White House now. He don't got time for what you got going on. You don't got no direction. Not to mention you keep going into business for yourself. They don't like that. That's one thing. I'm not even in pro wrestling and learned that. As many times these motherfuckers said it. Don't say that. We don't like it. You go into business for yourself. We don't like that. Don't do that. Got a phone call, he said. And he again expressed himself. I want to stay with y'all. I like what y'all got going on. This is where I want to, live out the rest of my wrestling days. And he said the person on the phone was like, all right, yeah, cool. It sounds good to me. Like they're going to really tell you, well, I don't know. WWE was already disgruntled because you sat up there and you went into business for yourself. And now you got the audience going into business for themselves. And you already know the relationship WWE has with us as viewers is absolutely atrocious. Karrion Kross. We want Kross. Oh, y'all want Brock Lesnar? You will have him. He said his reaction, he thought that Triple H, had dry humor. Yes, we all seen Paul Levesque's humor. He's a smart ass, right? Dry, offensive. He's the type of guy that'll say, my bad, I was just joking after he offended you. Karrion Kross said, I'm from the East Coast, and that's how we joke. Well, I'm from the East Coast too. and I also know how to read the room. And a lot of times males want to get the joke out so bad that they don't read the room and offend everybody in the fucking process. With that being said, he said he was offended. He was for real. He was for real. He figured out that Paul Leviskate didn't make a mistake when he said, "Oh yeah, you're gonna get Brock Lesnar." Like, shut the fuck up. He figured it out. You got the IWC behind you. Paul Leviskate is in a broiled domestic violent situation with the IWC. Did you think that was gonna help your case? You couldn't have been that dumb. So he goes on to talk about there was a death in the family. Him and Ron Killings have a great relationship. He gave him some words that he wants to keep close to the vest, which is cool. And so he went to Night of Champions. It was a rough night for him because the family and his emotions and the feels was feeling. He said during that time, people kept coming up to him like, "Well, you're gonna do what you're gonna go with the script, right? Like you're not gonna, try to be the good guy because the audience is cheering you. You are the bad guy. You are to lose like bad guys do." And he said, "Yeah." And then Ariel Helwani's like, "Well, why is everybody doing that?" And then this is where I'm confused because he's like, "I don't know," as if you just went off script. You went into business for yourself. You had to double back and explain to everybody this is a work. I was just joking. And the work that you was working was some hardcore shit. Like you was saying some wild shit and you did not tell the people that whether you was talking about them or not, that's you were alluding to and you threw it out there and left for the audience for us to make our own speculations, knowing that Paul Leviskate is already in the doghouse. He already ain't beating out allegations ever. He already floating around, old Cheeto King up there, and it's like you coming with all this fever, and and that's what fucked things up. So I was kind of confused why he was confused, why everybody was asking him, "Are you gonna do what you basically are told? You gonna be a good soldier, ain't you?" So the question was, how do you feel about your SummerSlam match? He's like he would have went bigger, bolder. But what Karrion is not understanding is you only put on the SummerSlam card to shut everybody the fuck up. You had no business being on that SummerSlam card, Karrion, especially with fucking Sami Zayn, who right now is not in the good graces of some or a nice significant amount of the wrestling community. Well, me specifically, I don't fuck with Sami Zayn. Now, watching you wrestle with Sami Zayn, I already don't like your character. I done got up and went and found something else to do. Okay? But you shouldn't even been on that card. And you only put on the card because the audience forced Paul Leviskate's hand. And you know he don't like that. So they threw you a little yang yang, let you go out there do a little yang 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 yang. And it felt like that. And that's how it came off. Lackluster and lackadaisical. Of course you wanted more. But you wasn't the guy. And I think there's a little delusion going on in this interview. So the question of fan support, once again, the fans picked him. I don't see it. I don't see what y'all see. I done said this multiple times. I don't see what y'all see. I actually see the star in this whole production was Scarlett. If anything, if I was running the show, I would have let him go and kept her. Cause that's where the money at. Tits and ass. Listen, I'm trying to make dough. Okay? I know my audience. I know who's in the IWC. Scarlett would have been dropping her legs and doing splits all up and through that goddamn ring. And if he was so adamant and staying, you're going to be her manager. You're gonna play the background. Okay? He just doesn't have it. But y'all saw something Killer. I don't know this Killer Kross thing. When I was reading up on Karrion Kross, he wasn't in TNA but a year or something like that. He wasn't in there for a significant amount of time. And I don't know why everybody like locked in on this Killer Kross. Now, her with the smoke show shit, everybody seems to enjoy that. But this whole Killer Kross shit, I don't know where y'all locked on it and what he was doing that was so spectacular because he didn't have a long amount of time with it. Now, if I'm wrong, y'all go ahead and correct me about the origins of Killer Kross because I didn't see where he had it long enough to where it was like, oh man, this guy is he's the bee's knees. I'm confused about that. But he said the fans are now going to make him be the next person he's going to be. This is another thing about Karrion Kross I don't like. He don't speak English. And what do I mean? Just fucking say what you're going to say. Say what it is. I hope these fans that were rooting and hooting and hollering for me, I hope they follow me to the next thing, to my next endeavor. These fucking words and the steady conversation he's giving is the reason why people think it's a work. So he shared something that Paul Heyman said to him. Paul Heyman essentially said, listen, if you're not on TV for over a year, do you think you can come back to TV after a year and engage the audience and do your job and get over? Karrion said, yeah. And Paul Heyman told him, supposedly, don't ever let not being on TV or not getting what you want rattle you. You work at the highest standard no matter what. Don't let setbacks fuck you all the way up. And Karrion Kross said that's what he basically has been functioning on. So he was very moved by Paul Heyman's words. Now, I mean, with all that being said, here we are. So overall, that was the interview. Okay. Karrion said if the opportunity arises, he would go back to WWE. I find that bizarre. I wouldn't want to fuck with them, period. To put me on my ass like the saber-toothed tiger at the end of the Flintstones, it's fucked up. But listen, I think there was a lot of missteps on his part. I think he thought he was more valuable than he actually was to this company. I think he thought because of the relationship that him and Paul Levesque had in NXT that carried over. He forgot that's almost damn near 10 years ago. That's shit. Karrion Kross was in NXT, what, 2020, during the pandemic and shit, right? Yeah, well, it's been over 5 years, if anything. So he still thought that those feels were still permeating around the business. I think he went into business for himself with that promo. He got the audience behind him. The audience pushed Paul Levesque's hand. He thought he was going to do the Ron Killing situation. It did not work out, and they went ahead and let him go. Also, he's 40, and that doesn't matter. He looks good. He's a big dude. If the directions were given to him better, he probably would have been a upper mid Carter or top heel. I honestly believe that. Paul Levesque put a stable behind him. It's not that he was not propped up and given plenty of opportunity to get over. He could not get over. And I think people forget that. We're not just going to put boring motherfuckers on TV. He had the Final Testament. He had the entrances. He had all of it put behind him. And it did not work out. It did not work out. Okay? He's gone now. I would like to see all the people we want Karrion. Y'all need to follow this man wherever he goes. You need to buy his book. You need to see the movies he's got coming out. You need to follow Charlotte wherever she goes. Scarlett wherever she goes. You all need to show up and show out if you were that pressed about this man's presence in WWE. I'm gonna leave right there. Let me know what you think.